Amade share mamumo chanya me adan ye ho akwa ba afi ye de mpunipu no hyehyɛ so na so ne wɔn ne doctor ne so for his appointment on birthday no edoso pa eniti owura Samuel Owusu Junior wo Ghana Revenue Authority Custom Division e wo head office so ene eye wawoda owura Samuel Owusu Junior enti wonso ye sem kwatentin na ya sezem so for inhyira no ebi enso so na wonso be ye de for kese pa if you do ye Jessica ya oye adwuma e wo Best Point oye branch manager e wo East Legon into so manido kuno happy birthday afe yemfa mpunimpu enhyehyɛ so owura Kofi Adams national organizer Emma NDC nana osan 2016 campaign coordinator owura Adams akwaba
ya we ni aba me jodo
na mpom ti sey
oh nya me dia che
ya sen hye bi
yes
na ada na mo maha metro mans na muntua
oh no me ni aba odika ma me nchia omo anope omuchi omuso amuhwe wo TV ne other links so
okay
and the why we show more mudi omu awoda nne cause maso me Mayborn and May Rocks
May Rocks okay me papa enti once and boss back Dr. Forisa poye ne birthday
and the nation na otumfuo ne I think on say a fifth.
On say a fifth May. Jessica, you we dey yen na yen company Kofi Adams na yen kan che o ti kokoso se na e bo di ani akwa ha yen tumam ye me na tiri nkwa na nkwa so.
Enti me wish you nyina happy birthday. Ye ni Metro Ma say maybe say ye do hon kawa enye ye mfum so. Say e kaw bi wo hopa na say nya omu kanu ye no kra enye ye mfum so. Because ye no one ko nhihye.
Okay.
The onsesa nipa bi emaye. Na at the time ye san nhihye no na ye nim nipa dodo a then obesesa won enti abasis kra be ye involve kra no yanka ensiso. But na ye wo mpinifo a on ye in charge of sa dwumadie no ewo various points buses ni be free akọ the end point.
Okay.
And anyone need to omo two forms of services there. Ube renti and ube hire omo bus no. And now omo be no fair base. Time ya launchi yen campaign wo Kumasi no. Omo ana yen one year ejuma. Eno de ye hire buses no because na ye nim constituencies dudu a ye wo 275 constituencies. All but central region constituencies no. Obia ye mahon one bus until mumma ye the cost ema ye then itia central region buses na edo also saying near yema other place because no mu hosti ni nyina was cleared.
Okay.
But this time around for a period until ye no only gitum there okay mu be ye djuma no mu ye wi na ya tenase with yen regional coordinators or mu coordinate program no na ye involved na ye tua ho omu ye wie na omu de invoice ebreye stating number of buses any total amount so no now one ye discussion no yanka on hiring menye on rental on fair basis and timodi simplified invoice say ba oh these are number of buses any cost na for auditing purposes no e be difficult then nipa me there ana buses na mo ka da ye adwuma na no kure se adwuma na anye adwuma entinka momfa details ana itemized bill na enfamre the okay buses 20 and free Accra ha call maybe various parts of the country enti ebi free Accra call maybe Koforidua ebi free Accra call Kumasi ebi free ha call ha na mo amaye details no na ye hu you bus now, you name number of passengers bus biafa, you name fare moje on that route, no more calculated. Now Obia very clear.
Okay.
But you name them why juma and the juma na moye no, yes so pay an estimate no ye tia 410,000 Ghana cedi. Now more the itemized bill no eba. Senya ye tia no na abro so awode mudi bi maya na mudi amaye. Senya ye tia no in drew amount na order yitua mama na ya then ya top it up omujitum ekoye Omo ma ye wo ho na omo san di demand notice on the same figure without itemized bill at the buy. And so no, you throw one back. That you cannot do that. Because mo buy ye meeting, ye jitum program the way mo buy no. Mo wie no mo de bibi buy there ye bill. And so no bill ye mo de buy no de. And ingredients are there mo de ka ho a ye bi hu there truly no kra no enka ho. Yes, so at that time, no, YNG report in from all yen coordinators from the regions in Inti. Munko na munko yejuma no better na mu. Munfa mbaye. What demand notice on the same figure na modeba. Enti munfa details na enfambra. Na yen tina ho na yen ye comparison. Say yen officers na omo aye mfomso a omo an capture bio. Ana mu capture bi a enka ho so. Ye tina ho a we will ask the relevant questions, then we agree on. Mini aba omo fa de en mbaye na ye ho na odi akọ media no de ye de woka say and so on and so forth there. And anything that means the minimum if they do near order or moya, we will come to an agreement. And as far as I am concerned, we have not refused there. You beat your own cow, say you don't want to cow. And I doubt there you don't want sa cow. We have not refused, we have not asked them to render service. And now yen deny you so there or more render a service. There be a more render service.
And Uncle Fimian say Mojitu musemo de omoka.
Let me say, at this moment, no, mean to me, Jin to me, there, Medoka. You find UTV, my back, Mr. Me, a program, maybe my imagine there, May, my birthday, for the period of May, no, every day, be a Mummonjuma, May for Yepe. Every day, be a Mummonjum, Maya, from time I'm to close. Movie, me won kofo so a mo monitor na omusu tie ndwuma mo na bosumi no kwiye no na mo de bill abrem de ye bon ndwum no be 100 times enti wo bill nie na me say no kwe me no wonu konhihye de mo ndwum for me emma me for all the May bonds enti me won kofo so a na omu tie UTV all the period a almost say then take note ndwuma mo boy in dedication to May bond. But bill na mo de buy no mo amfa details item as an ka ho there 1st May anopa 7 a.m. you born in June 1st December for this period ebo be maybe 7:45 no you sample for this period 8 o'clock you see all through to the end and no na ebe kire de truly no ejuma na mo ka de mo ye no mo ye sa de no adia na momfa ma ye nti mi so okay me ma musika se momfa no mbra na yehu no kura ewo mu se wo mfa sa adia na ma ya untumi mma beni me kan che me de me de okaw
Uncle Fie nko achi bi contract ben na mode ma omo ebre ben na moni ye ka ho asem se mode sa ekan
they were to do the movement from 1st of December to 7th of December. That was the period that na omo sisa nipano ekoye. That was the period.
Okay. Muhu so almost say nipano.
Oh sure, say yehu a say nka ye ma 410.
Okay. Enti say o say omo de woka na oka sesesi a wontumi nyi ntum say o de ne ka. Enye den kakra.
Ebe de na ye den.
Say waji atum say wasesa o me de ka na emom no minim sika no ne dodo amount.
How would I know that Miami chia wo no encover service na wo render? Ebe na me because my show is UTV. That's why announcement amame. Wa bonjuma amame. Ekosi say. Na me say okay. This is what I can you bring me itemized bill. Say ye no kwe pa de ejuma no wo ye ya. Say wo benya records wo ho. Ene anope who programmer from time ma mo sha say they do this and me sure there mo ye adverse and machines be for various persons. More documentation to prove that at this period, you know, more commercial break. These are the adverse errani, and you have details.
But MMT for no mushi shemuno, omo yesa itemized bill. So one high bus, Anna.
My catch out there not even on hiring basis, on fair basis. And a basis.
Saying.
And it's a wo funny panel like wo high basa na. Bas no de wo call even de wo call tema akwa bibi wa high bus no maybe for the day or the woko uwie ni awo ya na wasan ye den e de waba
okay
ana on fair basis bus no eye adwuma kɔ tema already entimi awaye no de mo passengers a omo ye maybe be 60 a omo be call bus no me the one egu bus no sika woje from Accra to Tema no make calculate ya then etia amount na wakwa kusi won wo ho. So that is the type of arrangement that anyone here enti on mesesa nipa no akọ na ya calculate omo fare omo je already. If you Accra kota malia omo ni omo je, if you Kumasi koboku omo ni omo je, enti passengers na o fire no you better have calculation na ya then etia. So you will have all the details. So even yen kra yen running transportation yen penny for keep all the records of movement Nadia. I believe strongly that Metro Mass will even much more detailed this in records because buses in Tukwa, buses in Betunu, there are various processes. But means there will be a driver.
Okay.
Obeloge, the main movie car no, from this is the bus number and this is the conductor, ewo bus no, so and so on and so forth. So they will surely have such details.
Okay.
Any idea?
Bill now mo de bremono. Omo de babre be na no mo se mo de omo kase.
Omo de bill the buy within December.
Okay.
Within December how omo de buy. So omo de buy na Mr. No. This can be especially menya who the almost say discount no. I'm say how does discount arrive?
Nana bill ni say no mo discount na be
I think it was they were saying about two something and almost a discount. I'm saying no. How does discount arise?
Okay.
Because I didn't a on fair base. Unless you are telling me that mo first no what so. Then that's where we can be talking about a discount. But the way I'm calculating, now today on renter, different from reporter, mediama penifone there, sana anyone higher than ajatum, and that may be difficult for me to go and defend something different from originally agreed meetings anyone here. So that's the matter. So we were there the Obikawa and no cremini about.
Enti omodi around 200 figure ne buying, which is 2 million and
omodi kind that 2 million buy with a discount.
Okay.
And I'm catch on there. No, go and do the right thing. Mumma detailed bill. And enough there. These are the number of buses, and this is how much it costs. That it doesn't gel because Oko even in every accounting and auditing process, what the bill no kokora attachment and no details. There, this is the total bill. Now so yeto special eyes, this number of boxes. Yeto this number of this. Yeto this number. And then you know what they are attaching. Then you have a covering note that indicates that this is the total. Now, Mode just covering note, but from under Mode buy, there is no attachment.
And I'm saying.
And I make a the year 410. And then now mobile we made 410,000 available to them.
Okay.
Based on initial report from the field, we thought that amount ain't yet too much and are too low for service or more and once we wait for the proper details. Maybe you cry maybe you hear more than by a certain amount or there or then or refund the bread. And now you service now more and more than near ETI. Now yes we are then you top it up. That's all.
And Kofi, now my imagine se munchia, and a mulusi enti abomu pusa na imode.
Make a show there. Your launching campaign, our Cape Coast. Your launching campaign in September. Now a party a yawa benum. Bisa one day you try na yintia. Say ya jine yintia, e dientina your launching campaign yitia. So that is not the case. That's not the case at all.
Okay.
And the no kwe. Say ya jine yintia. Your launching campaign you use the same buses. Bisa one day you don't want to cover. Bisa one day you don't want to cover. So it can be a fact. Far from the truth.
Okay.
Far from the truth.
Interne say omo the itemized bill but anya bia ma hu ana mo ne omo ye adwuma metro mass for no mo itemized bill die.
Of course. Based on the agreement I own. Well, when there during the transportation business, even oko private persons are movie in Krofoko, crowd more running up and down. These days they know the movement number of trips are nipanai.
Okay.
Say, oh, me basi a movie from Circle Ako Kumasi, maybe one trip in, one trip out, of or Lodi from station until the bus was full and sana nipanaya then airco. So this will surely a bus near 22-seater. It means you have 22 passengers in and 22 passengers out. Fair. You should be able to have these basic information.
No more the itemized bill ne ba mo betua.
I'm saying we don't have any problem with service or more than that. You deny the more than that service. So omo the bill neba. Are you satisfied with it? Are you better there into?
Na condition be na be. Amu na mo satisfied nti e betin ba so omo the bill neba mbeka say we are not satisfied.
Na say me catch you there so na ye won penny for ho a omo check bibia.
Okay.
And yet every bus a movie during that period no. And a arrangement because meaning penny for biswa almost ye arrangement with the same metro mass or mama ye juma bima wana
okay.
I know persons who did omoye private arrangement aside in and anything I hear detail will say kobano de bill na detail bill na wo de ba no nia nkofo mpeniphobia fa omo etua ho ka wa ye ni more de no ye hu onu so wo mu a ene no chewe de wo bases ni nyina e movie during that period na wo ka ni nyina abom e de abegu NDC so de ye na ye ntua ni nyina abra bi wo ho a mpenifo na ye den etua already.
Okay. Afe yemra en woni se mpuni mpudi ye kan bibia anti yemra NDC as a party won't ye kra nene nansa what is say Uraban Backben a second deputy speaker of parliament Nidia Poppy up yate Professor Joshua Labi yate Papei Espio Gabra chese dini dia wakra mijama wa obebo list ni bebre na won so call for odie sese amu wo mu say nkrofo se confusion NDC
na say o wa mo wo dia wo so ti meti within the omo
na me NDC
that why we NDC we MPP
me MPP me nsem na me nyanko GJ ticket so
look ade bia wo nimre ade bia no ewo nimre at this moment the NDC ya call general elections yendi nkunim enti yati besonku bi de omun hwemu na omuma yenhu nienti a eba no sa obi ate ne corner ono feel there e na ma esisa bet ye nyampenifo bi na omunya opportunity etie from all the courtesies omubenya a complete fair picture akwakọ ete there ye wo kasa bi yes mpede me use osono na bet no na omodeka asem ni nti that osono gina ho na ni frefo bi ye catch on there mun describe osono obi a obesum ne nan no or description na or the bema obi a ono so be fa bibi fo no description na or the bema obi a wo ni views nanso we hear the clear picture or there we fa all these views o kabo man sa na wetu menya the clear picture enti marketing of work de o ye nimyenti a ye say o ye nimya e de enti na o de Professor Boche committee sanye ejuma unim kra unim ni nyina enti na yate committee ni de omuntie tie nkofo bebre na yenya a consensus position na ye de be ye ejuma omuguso a omoye ejuma onche bia omo report beba eba reorganization of the party ne ebesha say right from the polling stations and our branches a whole year reorganize we na yakwa akoto abide ye mpenifo wo ho na mpenifo na ye beto abeyi won wo ho no omo bebe amuanim abeto abeyi constituency mpenifo na constituency mpenifo akoto eyi region na constituency ni region for ato ye national and sana national executive committee no omo be ye nhihye a ye de beto aba eyi flag bearer any parliamentary candidates na san nhihye no eho na eduru ho a na omo a ompede omugina for various positions, you know, betuma then aba up. But at this time, obi ye bibi dia attempting to leap even before you walk. Obia odo NDC pa the focus no all there about the reorganization. Indeed, even yen immediate past flag bearer ye mampenia this John Dramani Mahama onuna na oye maybe the main significant person kranka or the onu die nim oye niama bebrea. Ne thank you talk kra oye na adwin there all be kono party no e ka say oh ontwen na yen no in a way in another form in another format ono kra wa jatu. So he's not moved out there in the field to engage obi there mekobium and I mean yes of course nkofo bisa some of us questions about there or would we support and we have answered very clearly on that. That aside, better no one can sound empty because now you know yen dedicate yen mrene yen resources ni bibia enfanye reorganization. And to be O2 and more or yes idea no I don't think that the person really love NDC.
What was that post away?
Me
Pachomofa post and mramai. Post away won.
There be share na me
oh who be your baby
Debbie.
Back in 2020 tried, tested and committed.
Yeah, Honorable Bagbin is stalwart in the NDC. Why MP from 1993 till now, and the longest serving MP in Ghana today.
Into your castle, any chances to say?
Oh, then I don't see the chances very well. I don't see it. I don't think that Obeko.
Oh,
me sure
Papa no, Osano, Enna. Ni teacher bisan
why na say ni teacher bisan
and the spokesperson say onu ankasa ba nko for say obeba
tie ni teacher bisan ansa na ye ba 1992
okay
1992 yan contest election wa Ghana ha o contest bia 1996 ye contest ye one contest bi 2000 ye contest ye one kobi 2004 2008 2012 2016 and the fact that Obi aka
only see boot na obwan
na wakacha ode we wie lesia
ai
also we wie ni lesia no boot we call even into MPP party Honorable Jogati so no so I deputy speaker Matiti there he is a presidential material and has presidential ambition so wanko ankujina for election the fact that why MP Wababe the deputy speaker and automatically no the next year or the Okono a president in there or a minister for rails and something so it doesn't mean that because why MP akoye
Joga to post and pop up we wa test what
na say one ka waka there ono akura onim ho hwe na nkofo na omoka na nkofo omoka na de wo pe abie eno na make nkofo botu maka there wo so kobi ye be nomination na osikokofa forms ni bi the fact that nkofo aka does not mean that
me politician
we
president Mahamadini tina on pese obeji atumu se obi beba na so wa bo president Mahamadini so obesan aba
my very clear in my mind and have not missed that me idea me I don't know how to hide it but I'm always a fair-minded person.
Okay.
The fact that me pay ni pay does not mean that me mad the others opportunities almost here there or more previa. I have made my position quite clear, but me unfair to anybody it drew that time now. Now me quite clear so that the party on the ground also I much and the issue of flag bearership any idea a party for no crisis here.
We sure. Microphone. Ebinum say it's a see uncrophone shall see you on money ma. And your nature say President Mahama, ex-President Mahama, me and ye Jumano a ye. Ebinum so say chese mo party no more issues. Na said na mudina chana mo sere MPP for no. En so tona mo sere in kuto sere na Mamenka
say minchro. Apart from President Rawlings, or a founding father of the party. Obian contesting all other candidates are ye nominations for contest. President Mills, our late president, in 2000, even though ye conference purposely for that but now for enyi omuti but you see following the thought of the leader then that the vice president a unity there obijina or no President Rawlings be supporting na Emma Mr. Guzitano no every NDC conforming reform party and no you see the first time defeat in Saka in this country was as a result of that process of formation of a reform party from the NDC. Subsequently, 2002, Professor Mos Wanko an opposal. Then Dr. Kofi Bochwe, now professor, or contested against Professor Mos Ewo Legon Central Cafeteria, 2002 December. After yen April conference for trade fair, Dr. Beda Sanwa ne leadership. There was a contest in 2002. Indeed, 2006 Biom Ewo the same Legon N block. The number of aspirants are original for NDC flag bearership every 2 to 4. Dr. Ekospio Gabra, Alaji Mama Idrisu, Mr. Ediana, Omobeka. There were others who were interested. Now, so you drew some point. There were trade-offs. Omamba, Ekoye, Nipa 4, Omijinaye. Professor Mos went ahead and won the elections. He won the primaries massively, and he won the elections subsequently. In 2012, after the flag leadership contest earlier in 2011, between Nana Kunedu Adjuman Rawlings and President Mills. And Yankopo to Safrenu after becoming a flag bearer. He be a nomination biom. Just that Obia and then Amambefa forms biom. So President Mahama went unopposed. Still, yet to Nuswaba Ewo Kumasi. 2016, so you be a nomination for 2016 elections, so Ononkwana Obefa form submitted. But still, yet to Nuswaba.
So 2016, no, Mama will be uncontested.
Yes, I be a nomination. Now, say to me for say, will be there Uncle forms.
Okay, George Boating.
One George Boating.
Also, NDC, ni Papa, ya no what's Oyarifa or Pantan or baby. I'll cover and forms our day bar.
Forms no, and I say, young forms and ye Kaklo papers are the rapid Kaklo. You will be a to be far forms. And this is one confer form no be order will confer form na and so
Obefa party mo and na later suspend the nipa no say enye sa nipa ne right person also give form
so who could give who do party office
party office
there was guidelines na emma wo sorry there wo kwa give forms no STT baby a nipa wo there wo give forms free no.
And Kofi no deliberate idea na mo pese president Mahama call on the post.
Deliberate na ye share that ye guidelines idea ye deliberate na ye guidelines to so. Idea ye deliberate no. Ye guidelines ya state to guidelines no. Guidelines are ye di to join tia. Oh sorry there wo kwa give forms no. Eka specifically that you pick forms from the general secretary of the party. And they say wo give forms no baby then you say that ye take you serious. Say anything the general secretary here president was indicated there or no obian mefa forms no but anybody are interested no omra mefa forms now in processes are ubeko through to get your form endorsed and this a that year close nomination you obi over there oh me ba befa forms then the person is not serious about wanting to contest the elections.
Professor Kofi Bochwe committee omo wi omo adwuma
o there be omo wi omo adwuma
na de he na omo ba ya mo sanse omo nko na omo nko hwehwe mu bi mu
there be omo fa report bi am by omo request for extension of time until report bi am my report ne ba mia ye feel there or there ye di tuja party ni bia beti no ye de betujwa mia eye for development of a working document no ye be ye ho working document na ye di ayedwuma.
I see. Na musi munima de kudenti amudi nkongo no.
You can know everything.
But President Mahama Awards Durban, South Africa say onu di onim.
Of course, he's at the epic. Baby, I not in your onim no. Yen hunu sa. Baby, I memetie ni aminim no. The next person below me no hunu sa. Because ubenya a very fair picture of things, but we nyani nyina. So the fact that we nyani doesn't mean that you should not comment. Of course, so Kanya Mampini Mahama ka yen former head of state ka yen about the 2016 election. So I know the whole class is here. inyama opposition for kaya omodi nya vote no ene amo nya sa vote no omo ye completely the opposite ana nia na president Mahama aka de ekwan na owo de ye fa so etu anamo ye nia owo de ye ya omo challenge ye no ene sa na omo ka
I don't know, President Mahama, the any Mwajia to me. Is it because a favor Munitiana? Now the Encrofor for a cana, maybe I'm profana, arrogant. Now you're from Momfano Muntia, Semna, you say Abba Fresh for the running campaign, and you're moving to.
We have not indicated that YNGB are into. That is perception. In politics, you know, perception doesn't mean that. So be persevere, it doesn't mean that they're no correct.
Okay.
Meeting UTV, mayor program. A 1 hour program. We to my energy within that 1 hour, no, obe friends are or friend as a manfa, or not doing him, your friend or monfa. Maybe from this program, no, maybe new calls will be coming through, and me that and friend even sa old call. No, maybe no, not miss calls, not also be brave. Sometimes the routine continues for a long time. Nipa and two manfa will call because they are random picking. Would you know maybe unfortunately nipa and two manfa on beka there oh and on fa calls. Me, I've been praised by many that me fa calls anytime. I've also been attacked by many that me fa calls because that is how it is. And the nipa na or kanu maybe ni our kanu ye no kre.
Okay. As
far as ono ye concerned, but nia we share the entire situation no so nia nipa no so kanu so enye no kre. So we are not rejecting, we are not accepting. We are explaining to ourselves the most important thing that ubia be ne juma e won the point our there or ne juma. Now you taking levels no quite serious. So we at the branch level. No, there we juma or branch level. Now we are reported to branch leadership. Now leadership ni omo to my no omo ye no ho. Ni omo to me ye no omo nim the next level benefo or there omo ye den omo de omo asem no koma ho. Na omo so ahwe ni omo to my ye. Ni omo to me ye no omo de beko the next higher level. Ye no sa pressure no ebe reduce on direct national calls because how many calls now me one person me to my from all the over 4-5 million
party for no new issue for what in Jan say campaign now coordinate you know one massacre no anko mo ese call mo nsem ho na they would accuse and to the BG national organizer seat say he didn't let the money trickle down e bia na we no na possible defeat
campaign na ye you know yanye money campaign and so bia to honor so there it was a money campaign that we did that na nipa no onimia ye we never ran a money campaign. Of course, we had logistics to do work with. Now, the logistics received it from the appropriate officers. No, we are in charge of those logistics. They did that because me as coordinator over there, yes, I should have a fair knowledge of here for campaign. Oh, yes, pickups or the campaign pickups and Ekodru constituency. Whether if I'm in Semu and farming Semu, for me, enye the issue. The fact is that every constituency of Monsaka will pick up. Every candidate be a support be over there, then Saka for the campaign, then Saka. Constituency for ni our there echo Monsemu or Monsaka. Constituency for be maybe omo candidates AJ omo the resource for more activity anchor one. They raise issues. And it was resolved, and they made sure that you over the echo executive side and echo. Maybe people may not be satisfied with me or Munya. That does not mean that me over there omode yede kono yamfa anko. So that is also an erroneous argument.
Being so say you were planted, say Branabeji NDC ma Papa J. If it's a State of the Nation address, you know, na Papa J is white, Mami J, Nana is white, and now also is white. Now who from as a spokesperson, all of a sudden, you be your campaign coordinator, and I'm a president, I'm a Lucy. You came to accomplish a mission.
This is not the first time I lose elections.
Okay.
You lose the election in the year 2000. Now you are BEM. You lose elections in 2004. Now you are in opposition. 2008 you win. I don't think that Saakasano, Kasa or there will be tolerated or even party. I don't believe in those kind of talks. Yeah, they destroy Nipa. But and no one because assembly chairman. I say Nipe bien Omusu Akotoku. ekro de no bidie nko na egum na ekro de no so sika kokko na egum a na maybe arm robbers epe bibi age a one ho no mmeko. So sometimes when you get people attacking you, because of what your value and what you have in you. So sometimes I don't get bothered about some of these things. May very focused on Ijuma or there may and yet near pedestrian talker in Kofua or Munim even any standing now on Mecca. Today Metro Mass for issue na about earlier. No, that ya na obin in them say wabu say deno now okaso Kofi Adams na other cow and your party without even any basis. Why would need any status? Party no one koye any discussions with the company. One party executive no so I will be discussions are because oh sorry na ubie we numa na wo kasake. These are the indisciplined elements or Emma running a party no very difficult for us. In running a party adia wunim no men come once.
Adam Mushi Ice President Mahama ni de na okan na omo se ni odwa wo pa o se wo wakos in a defeat so much.
I think I've answered you from this matter.
You have, but I'm just asking.
I said I've answered you by laughing.
Almost a job, Kofi trust you. I don't know what yes,
I've answered you by laughing.
It means have I answered my
question? Yeah, you have answered yourself. Yes, you have.
But what about the viewers? You don't know whether they are laughing.
Oh no, they will answer themselves. They will answer themselves.
So what my President Mahama says,
they will answer themselves. Obiya nim there, Juma. Last time for me, I must oh you have added up Mr. Of course, but I will add that because pressure no is not the same as it was during this. Why was I going through all those pressures, running up and down, putting everything together? With me until the whole day without food. Oh sorry, at dawn you finish at dawn. You have to sit down and review campaign, set agenda. Every nipa who me air course was any advanced team report in the you have to review it and find answers quickly signal team now we did all this at the end of the day them President Mahama ka you know obi ton ntro na obi suton no kre na mostly no me a water ton no kre no eye dimpa ma no always after na yehu no kre no. And I'm a believer in God, and if I read the books of God kra no uhu no the adifwa kese and even Christ, whether it is even the Quran or you are reading about Prophet Muhammad and the rest, who know that sa nipeya o mobile no o monsema o mudi kan de bae no ko fa nja ntum bebre na no mo join there nya o mo kan enye o mudi the other side. And we've always been told that narrow is the road that leads to what heaven, and wider is the other. So sometimes ukra no krena and yet the amount, especially when you are in. What haven't we seen? If you were or Barbie crown, Mema, Ebin, or Musi or Bar Pecra, near Obe Chan Trock as a crown, and a Muslim, Onya Nipano. Ube Nipano, bicycle type round to me, Tobe, to me promise with the baby Obetinano, a better the heaven on earth. And Nuna, near Obeka no creature the mini bicycle, mini bibia anti, me a me pen me do. Memma yina ya brea anante kwan paso edieko iwiye no nipa no mostly no kekra bi no metie sa. And now gradually we are learning our lessons over the years. Even some of our neighboring countries are almost nya change no ko hona ko hwe nya ayeko so ne.
Okay, Uncle Kweku ba ko say obenya anka say be ya mo be reorganize mo na mo be benti mountain opposition for 16 years.
Kweku ba ko dey no or Chinese. Say enye na Kweku ba ko MPP wo power okasa ansem no. Okay, Yelusi 2000 on any other partners or Mukabum there, they want to finish, they will finish Rawlings. You will strip him naked. And President Rawlings is still where he is. Kweku ba ko is still where he was. Have they been able to strip this in? Oh, NDC, Mekai Ura J.H. Mensah, by the time they finish dealing with us, we will cease to exist. He existed here, Mayedi Nkunim, few years later, and have lost and they have come in again. It's Akasano there. na nipa no party about power na ye no there but obeka nia obeka but then we know
a journalist
David men yes sir yes sir obeka there we journalist no so awoka there we no medi hu achinje enti awo men ka Kweku Baako ne de no Kweku Baako na anim
onim said
onim the position onim where he belongs make I
say our soft spots in
honorable enya soft enya soft bia honorable Amabiodo na ota describe Kweku de osonunity akukọ no nan enti mitini ne bibia say eti na bibia wo enti say witiri no ye osono a wo nan no aye akukọ no de enya fe because etiri na eden nan kọ bibia wo de opede wo beko because me ba ha no enya me nan na ede me ba ha o mitiri na decide de me ba UTV na me nan di mechi ba enti osonunity akukọ no nan.
But we one can in bad context say near question you need to organize and revive your party. It's mucha na my to
a bond scandal na ekoso a yakwakoji bond over and above the rates and nko for expect there ye be na papa na anes for a ye ka kire hom asem foforo in the course of the campaign ye bibi different from here ye ka kire hom na a teacher for nya omo frɛ no biometric verification na omo de ye obi ye insensitive enne ye ko yi edin a omo ye workers ni ne efiri in the name of that same process na omo da sumu na program president Mahama ya omo se enye thought through program eno na omo gusu ye ne we are faced with challenges ye face ya na edien ena ye papa. Listen, Kofi Ediaba. We are just reversing in almost everything. Edian pa ne wo ho a.
Ghana. Ha.
Well, if na ye
no answer say we are reversing in almost everything because almost inflation about
inflation
to other currencies.
Inflation trend have always been coming down. Even from President Mahama at the time. And you know, America wants them. Make about other serious governance issues.
Interest rates?
Any promise. Interest rate was coming down. Interest rate, Bank of Ghana or base rate, you know, they have been. It was clear that they were going to review it further down. And nuna eba inflation, you know, there was a trend. Interest rate, you know, there was a trend. And to those things, in the and may challenge and long before I ever call into 2016 election, economic intelligence unit and other financial institutions, both home and abroad, predict some economic improvement for Ghana in 2017, irrespective of the outcome of elections, because of certain decisions we are taking earlier, economy in 2017. At the time of Mokasano, now it didn't matter. Almost it doesn't matter who wins. Because Nia Ebema economic improvement ABBA in 2017 have already been initiated.
Okay.
Have already been initiated. So I know the Enyano make about people taking over the running of things illegally. The Kwanya Yefaso Etu and Namobia Enye Papa Enye Clear, the issue of this recent bond Yekoji no Hunsem. And nurse for still no omugusu dawo Ministry of Health.
Na sa nurse for no ma bresu nyina no omoda. And see a no ma fedi. E ye backlog amujai e no ma fedi.
Wonim dey yentumi mfa nurse na nurse no nkonko ye djuma we duase. Nurse be ye djuma wa hospital. So you have to have the infrastructure. Before Ayebe Kokora, long before, some financial clearance was given for most of the bonded ones, you know, to carry on. Ediena Health Minister no can also omo be jai bonding of a nurse for. Ediena bonding no goes with allowance. Allowance ye de mahon. Enti se wo be jai bonding and it there wo mahon support biya biom. So nipa ni wi a ompe no kwan na onkonkoye nejuma. What does that mean?
What it means is that nipa no na obewie school 4 years na buy mfa no no so ntimi nkoye adwuma. Ene say Rebecca say okay, yam bonde o na wie na so obi be fa.
The same thing. And Health Minister Alex Segbefi akoka wo ho that government program will include now freeing both the private and then public nurse for no omo nyina no should be treated like almost the same, and all can have access to some loan facility for their training. Now, Obaswa, Obia restricto. Say abrochi na upede ukwa koye juma wo ho. Say private hospital na ukwa koye, nothing will restrict you from going. And omuka seti asadi. Today, that's what they are telling you. That's double standard. Omukata, omuka fita tama omu opposition. Ekata tuntumno ana mekuna ewomu. Ene yabana omu servi mekunkwa tomatoes kra nka ho. Hot pepper. Ene omu servi tomatoes nka ho.
Na Cape Coast no. Papa J ka se abato nechi. Obeba beka bibia kire party for no. Ena sisi a inso bi mu se ebre na dru se ogine party. No sisi ni party.
Party know values, and those values will continue to stand by those values. You know. As we move on, you be facing challenges, just like any organization, whether it is even religious organization, omukura values. And so we call omo omudie nima omoye no, ene obetina nyomambo any sodomini na de koso asori. Doesn't mean that the church has abandoned the values.
Na muni sana na MPP for na mode so
power. In America there, it doesn't mean that the church has abandoned its values. The party no, ye party a Congress. Yentumi nya asro abofonkwa in NDC. But how means we will have our persons almost near enye as it has happened all through. Now so will continue to learn and continue to improve and confront the challenges. President Rawlings our founding father no oka party no party ni ye ma ye nyina yes na yes be affect ye nyina. So we all have a responsibility there ye be ye juma ama party no ejina ye. We cannot be doing anything otherwise. Obia anya involved we ye den wo to aba e wo polling station ko polling station ho na ko hwede e den na ekoso na value no enhance from yes a charity begins at home. Obia no home no any polling station. And the value bia yepede eye adwuma no yemfa values no emfa nko ye polling station. Na ye free polling station na obia wo constituency. Yemfa those values no emfa nko ye constituency na yemfa nko ye adwuma. Ye no saa it will be easier for anybody. Obia ntumi meka nkyere me ha there President Mahama anye adwuma wo there o ye as president and leader of the party. But yembisa ye hu so there mboa ben and yet the man as members of the party at various levels.
Papa J wa mwa Mahama.
Se bibi wo ho a wo there ye and na yanye a yen kan kire ye hu there this time around ye beye. Se bibi wo ho a ye but me you are se bibi wo ho a se bibi wo ho a ye nti e affect ye in the electoral process. Ye ya adwin there sa de no ye nya biom so that party no benya a positive stand to be able to move on. And in America, everybody must contribute no quota according to the capacity. President Rawlings, may assure there about around to the launch of the campaign, he didn't hide the feelings or kanya or feel the party niya maybe a bebwa. I believe that that is the advice we could get from him. In terms of involvement in the campaigning, the way he had involved possibly in the past election. Based on that, Obibeka there, involvement in the 2016 campaign was more of advisory role in the back room than the direct field involved. I remember I thought that he could have done a lot more because considering, yes, the energy level, age, ni also count to do, we could have him more if we had interrelated a little bit more. I hope that the next time, Obeye much more involved than maybe he was involved in the previous elections.
Na mo friend, senka wa any spokesperson that now say coordinator of the campaign.
It's not about me. That's the problem. Nipa join there who coordinated there. And just about you. What hey we many wanna eating here. People may be seeing you, but there's a team anyone juma. If the team decides to frustrate with Juma, maybe things will not go. And it's not just about one person.
But you about, as a leader,
about, of course, if you so offer party now, maybe your leader.
But you were made the campaign coordinator.
Coordinating doesn't make you the leader.
You may be the campaign leader.
You won't penny for who coordinator. What correct the way you're smart for? You're smart now, and yet they will ye penny.
Kofi Yenina Yenim say, who lead the campaign, you won't dear anymore.
Debbie. And that is also wrong.
When I need more
party no one penny for who coordinate here, Tio, who coordinate campaigns. A dear party Nadia to me there, no, and I will hear so there, then you gusua, ye. Over there, the Madi Coho, Aquana, when I will be checking, or there, won't to mean sorry. Just on your own and decide that me adiena mepe and na. That's why you have a campaign team.
But as a coordinator, you are the senior strategist.
No. You are not a senior strategist. You are supposed to implement strategies, Abba.
Of which you have so much input.
Of course you will have input, but who input doesn't mean that you are the one to take decision. My restricted and anything usually campaign now now, now, picky individuals. So, you have a role to play at a certain level. Now, you call Yempini be Krune ye, Sinyani, and Papa be a Gina elections for constituency more, or no cry Ulusi because of Nusubainti. Now, Onone attack was on some persons. And I be son, not many general, I said there. Abano, ye to aba ewo. Headquarters and there be a toaba our polling stations. From polling stations, your back constituencies. Mpenifo Bibria no more, no more. You needed to also coordinate your activities effectively and utilize your resources effectively. So one yes, sir, you also have a portion of responsibility you have to accept first.
Okay. That
Obia was a certain responsibility in this party. All of us should do self-introspection. Would they when set your air point to be not for no air point towards you? So introspection. Then beside from 2013, Ediba 2016, a DM pan and uncle there me ya manye. Maybe branch meeting namen Kobe. Poster cry the mammy there min conco paste ya miss ya mammy's car, maybe min conco paste. Ye be so minianum be out there, me friend when I am conco to our background. Man, friend, all those things are 1 year. Emma, you did drew this point. We must all resolve to change, and then be able to.
But in the morning, Papa Jane to say.
Oh, yeah, good. Good. There's no problem with us with him at all. There's no problem. Individuals may have issues. Individuals between me issues, and that one we can't take it because he nipa. Me tia he me fie. Oko me ma. One or two benya issue with me. Because a crow or no open sweets only, like maybe ice cream and those kind. So pedal mudidi fruits or no some fruits. So who cause say that idea of for say and there yen the fruits in team individuals may have issues, but it doesn't mean that as a collective family, we are not working as one person.
Individuals in one half. So you launch NDP now, I feel all of a sudden what's your baby NDC national organizer.
So that is that was when we were campaigning for flag bearership.
Okay.
And no NDP function. I'm launching NDP in Kumasi.
Okay.
Manko. It was on a Saturday. The Monday and a migrant interview because I was associated with the activity. Then a Monday migrant interview on CTFM indicated clearly that I have not left NDC. The fact that I support Nana Kunedu for flag bearership of NDC doesn't mean that the BR Obekono Eho and Meko. So I wasn't at the Kumasi function
NDP.
For the launch of NDP. Manko, even though President Rawlings scored, but I didn't go. And I made it very clear that I wasn't going to go, even though and I was a spokesperson, because Mekwa, Miawo Kaneno would have been a basis that I was part. And because now President Rawlings here then so I needed to possibly be around him as a spokesperson. So for that particular event, I decided then Menko.
Until only Rawlings is no muntem to say.
I don't have any problem with anyone. Of course, Mrs. Rawlings has formed her party. And now I relate with her as Ubia Oye, a founder of, a founding father of another political party, but knowing the other politically. But beyond politics, we have a relationship. I would continue to give her her due. Nyawayama Umangana, Nyawayama even NDC as a party before Kofi joining another party. She will get those due respects from her. But who treating us Obia under party about politically. President Rawlings is still the founding father of our party. So politically, I will relate with him much more. And Sana, the other relationships are ever between us. We don't have any issues at all beyond disagreeing politically.
One would have thought said the why almost spokespersons than Adekye and come relationship a quadro political relationship.
Of course, the relationship is beyond politics. In America, the politically many Mrs. Rawlings, we disagree. Politically, we disagree. So, in terms of political relationship, but me political relationship in free hodia, then we can talk about other relationships.
Into Kofi?
Of course, I go there.
Oh, okay.
I go there.
You are believed to have said, so say na kuna do nchole tamra. Na mbajin wo NDC back.
That was him. I said you can apply to join NDC back. Apply doesn't mean that churo letter. You're in churo letter and sana the members of this. You go to a branch and then apply. And I say maybe we were party. Now pede party NDC consumer party no so. Utumi churokrata at the party. I want to have an engagement with leaders. By all means, there should be a form of what? Application or a letter. Okay. To do that. Utumi sorry keke ana ose own. Ma collapse my party. DFP. Omo Babe joining NDC fully. They went through a process. There was communication, interactions, and the rest, and sana consummation to take place. Or much come electoral commission, the party, any obium. So, like they have dissolved the party, and all members, have joined NDC. Now, NDC, some left to MPP, and then the rest. Some cry, Mukoya, and some cry, some consummation take place. So we don't really write to apply. We are organization. Now we are affiliate to the NDC. Then you apply in writing, stating objectives and all those things. Our organization's structure. And then who are the leadership. And there you have to write per our constitution. In constitution, nature, choir ubefaso. So we join the party now. And nobody is treated differently in NDC in terms of.
And this Mrs. Rawlings, yes, sir.
Of course, at this moment, so the NDC, they will join the NDC, and now consummations of the alliance, party alliance, and now consummation. It must begin with a process. How will I know that a party in Penifono urging if there is no communication? How would we know? How will we know? Application may be by word. There may be Ube requested to meet leadership. Now more engaging in discussion. It's an application. It's an application. Application doesn't necessarily mean that you can request for a meeting with leadership. Now at the meeting, what the intentions need be for discussion. So it doesn't mean that people who don't understand the political workings, there should be an application process. Like the way address now DSA. I write to apply to join the National Democratic Congress and then blah 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 blah. I'm so and so of this. Maybe you're moving there be a application in political terms. That's not what we are talking about.
And Nana Kuna do so no bar as an individual as a person. Monjine just or the any party in Abana.
Oh why? Obian join a party. You can join a party as a party.
Okay.
And as an organization, you can also join as an individual.
Okay.
Individuals, be no more NDP and associated strongly and have since rejoined NDC and they have been accepted.
But she the founder, flag bearer, and
if she decide that, say no, they no free a party, no matter joining another one. So no free na say obi say, oh me even though founder no call flag bearer no call still meka party or now the party on unchro on electoral commission there me party now make all round me nyanko form or register you know says ya ma dissolve party ni exist biom na ebinom ye omo adwin there we want to continue to run NDP they will continue to run it.
Okay,
That's how it is because eyemra your national constitution and your party constitution. So when children come electoral commission and sign it, leadership and sign it there, party no yegun says yeah existing bioma. It will continue to be in the books. And never call electoral commissioner. There's no party called DFP because omatro to electoral commission that, but all other parties like reforms, Eagle, Dr. Rekubrobe in the party, they are all still on the books. Because omunchiro nko there, yem party no yegunu. Anytime electoral commission decide to implement the rules there, okay, yeah, check facilities, you know, they write to all those parties also. So omu apply rules and okay, who need all these facilities is yeguwa. Omutum ayesa. But as we speak now, they are still in the books because omunchiro nko. We have about 20 or 22 parties in this country.
CCAI we may sure so tia what you write Ibrahim Mahama ne EU consensus no.
Yeah, Mati. One visit kra oko EU ko no me copy hobby.
Ade na okuja no.
Of course, I've had issues now if you enter. I wanted to have a first-hand information on what was going on. And that was the only point maybe me to me channel na me hu no kra ewomu and I'm happy that me koye. And I clearly saw that Bibia now on to completely destabilize the young man and any progress because clearly no adia now mo ye hu hwehwemu now mo ha no na nhihye da ho already with the relevant agency. I believe that the agency now has a capacity to deal with that issue now. It doesn't warrant EU code on Bebem because there was no organized crime. There was no intention to defraud anybody whatsoever because no more arrangement now umu follow arrangement. Albeit some challenger abemo and that challenge was not beyond the capacity of Ghana Revenue Authority there or money institution be deal with. But to remove company and begin to locate it on an individual as if the Ibrahim Mahama, that was where a certain witch hunt agenda. Of course,
now,
you can deal with the
CEO of that company.
Now, or CEO, or this and that, you can deal with the company and then put the company and leave the CEO. You can deal with a company.
I don't know so much na or address.
It was much more about CEO rather than company. Oh, because that was what we had been. We'll be some question. I said one more company needing.
Say because of days nearby, that's how they captioned it.
So, but even the discussions on air, then even from official persons, that was how they were trying to portray it. They find a way of linking it to even Ninia Oye Mampini. Meanwhile, this company was working and doing well in this country, and Sana Ninia Beye Mampini, and Akra Mampini Nabedi Chikra. So, where from this?
Now, was he truthful to his social responsibility as a citizen?
Of course, he was so truthful. He was so truthful. Say, I'm not truthful, Lanka. On any institution, any arrangement there, a day say neti, meet you and say. As a country, we also owe on also Nejuma, Wayama, Omangana. You don't know. So, a county there, on just one side. So, in Konukwana, other kawa, yen cry yen in the kawa, so Maya, yen in the company, the kawa, so Maya, Kaibaka de o, and ye maybe we see say ye cheer your responsibility to you. Meaning now ye cheer mount. Now, what you now, what there, what the Maya, no one Maya, dear, and ye we see. But we check your records now. A cow now, yen ye didn't know, Grano, a so saying, near maybe omu
and Kofi say no dey excuse me keke because time okwa car ni ade no na e car ni enyamai na fe na obeye humanity afe na wode e no ba be ohinche de akiri
tie oman Ghana your arrangement bi kura companies enye Ghana for die on free amanoni omunye adwuma de omu be ye wo Ghana ha yetum ma omu clear omunye ama de be ye adwuma omu wi a na omu asanse sa omu ni ama no e de akọ omu man so without any disturbance, without any worry. But young kasa yen companies are no more yen time mahon sa opportunity, which is very bad. on this occasion, no, GRA for no facility be so modern everybody, both foreign and then non-foreign. There, what the Myanmar bar, a big crowd, how money be custom bonded warehouse. Now, oh, yeah, transaction now we treat ya near over there with ya. It is around that arrangement, and as I the APA, and so while near BBA a bonnet, and of course, to me, ubetia Sikamu be a scout on Sabekano and companies will be the cup. And your companies be brave at the car, whether it is Sinito, a GRO, Bibri, a big cry among Ghanaian companies or more just in business of buying and selling. Taxes are not there, Muchama or Ibrahim company there or more can is a joke.
Kofi, a candidate, but commitment, and say after uni Jumokono, aqua agreement, say in a mayor, no say na menayati asiama, na fe wobu someone for how many weeks? So GRA for Nankasaka there, yes, there were challenges, but the challenges and beyond them. Senkomaka there, we are frustrated. Yehunia yebeyebu. So safeguard even properties are enunti yemasa and shishenukano yentumim fire and sa and kainti mumboye. Na yen locate company no na japadi ebia na yenim no. Then we can be talking. So far, GRA my indication cry there. Oh, alternative means or there yefa yediji sikana or there ejin krano. Oh, yentumi nye. There had not been any such indication. So where from all these the criminalization of an individual? Ghanaian, why you employ Ghana for no more juma or Ghana for no more juma or Ebra ko Yoko Hona ni Ibrahim Kucha, did you find out say kwambe so na Yoko for fast so or mo bemu ye GRA na invite or
GRA fa indicate clear before cry because GRA indicate clear the o ma invite one into this matter on how o mo bemu
nti den o mo bemu
very clear to you.
They be
very clear to us. Say anything I'm talking about the suspicion there a witch a political witch hunting.
I see. What is a Mary for Nisi Adiura Gabio Cheda Kuneyo country director?
Mate, no appear a number of platforms. But a Mary international company. Omu right there, Omubefa country reps. But say no cry, ye Ghana for to determine whether a dear year campaign against NDC and President Mahama say no cry so say the pana ye Ghana for less than 5 months into that government relationships of Mampenyi and this and the kind of positions are taking, Ghanaians will be the best judge.
Position is saying, oh, you're Ghana ni,
of course,
per country director. Maybe our file for he's competent.
We don't have any issue with that. The American Ghana for a judge. This was the same company or Murizi issues about. Muka, UTV, for any other associated media platform. Muka, Mary, the same company almost or Mwebuye, even though there was no such thing. Who may think that maybe a part of the reasons in here all those issues came up. I'm not saying that Gabi Enye competent on it. So he's a lawyer. He's qualified to represent them. And I'm always happy that international companies bar and they have to pick Ghanaians as some representatives because nipa ninya bibia obey then or the best share or my name. But time ana NDC wa be no MPP opposition omo ehunu sa. Se Ghana ni bi nya opportunity a no more attacking that corruption say ene yenye sa na
say we amomu deal ni de na enye e na no more catch
there ye fa as a representative I know the enye but ye fa MPP ni ana president Nanado Minua as representative there the papa you there salute it can be like that so double standard enye and that is what Ghanaians be they bisa the right questions
double standard ni saying aban any America contract and as I bring opposition for si debi contract ni dia moto ade na boden dodo adentina say basa ade say the money at a cheaper rate ade na ma say no
aban ba na ede na isi ye bookie $1,800 hotel accommodation a day for delegation. Each year one per diem of in huge sums. You thought first class, business class ticket on Emirates for them to go there. Obi nipa cross call for investigation. Nipa no head committee no so no call for negotiations. And one or can no crash. So it tells you that the government is not being truthful.
Abino so be review contracts and contracts and money
penifo age ni penifo omo kasa asem no omo call for then investigation.
Okay.
Nipa onu odanu onu so ye lawyer Philip Adeso onu so omo anko for any investigation bia no negotiation. The one or can okre. Double standards. Double speaking. Abino enka nokre was adi enim.
And yeah, matter of semantics.
Semantics.
Call for negotiation.
Negotiations and investigation cannot be the same. Are the same. Unless you have been given the two mandates. So we could mandate to investigate different from negotiations. Unless or more catch there. Now more the double mandate no more the call to conclude investigations and negotiate. They are completely different things.
Yo, Kofi Mamifa comments kakra na fe yemra me bofi nkomo. David Anako says, good morning, sister. I tell NDC to go and pay the money. Metromas is not for the NPP, neither is it for the NDC. Metromas is for Ghana. Emmanuel Fifi Apia says, good morning. Yeah, I can see Mr. Adams is a fancy, but I don't know why he's mixing the fancy with the tree. Tell him to speak his language. Abdul Latif Shaibu says, good morning. Yeah, NDC. Why so you were using the nation resources to run your campaign, eh? We will not allow you to come to power again. Chief Manose in Atunsu Kwansi says, yeah, Mr. Kofi Adams and his NDC should go and pay the Metro Mass transport and spare us this cheap defense. At least the NDC should save their dented image in opposition. Nana Koyo Francis Samuel J says, Kofi Adams is confused in his speech. He don't even know what to say, but beating about the bush and moving in circles. Isaac Osu June Bond Jr. says, good morning, yeah. Okay, thanks for the compliment. Please tell Kofi Adams to be honest. There is a big secret in the party. We are all watching. Okay. Empress Bakope now says, good morning. Yeah, please ask him his views about the cheap sales of government properties which happened under NDC. Ellis Boachi says, Kojo Boachi, Hebrews Pharmacy, Niboyton says, yeah, like this man, I like this man too much. God bless you. Dixon Kwachi says, good Uncle Kofi Adams. Now you talk slow. How do you feel being in opposition? And then, baby, Mamifa last one, Anne Van Larry says, yeah, please, I want Chairman Woon to me. And he said, honestly, he has a girlfriend. Please ask Honorable Kofi Adams if he also has a girlfriend too. Jay Uncle Kofi, it's secret to be what NDC, secret in anything.
Secret in anything? I don't understand.
How is the confusion? It's in Western region, it's a party office, and Tokwa Baso. Chairman said, Onunisika no this year.
Head secret. Said, almost a more car. Ama media cry a publisher. Head a secret.
No, it's BB won't see a dent to Quanket and Kitty.
Head a secret.
So now you organize. I want
to so it means a secret. It means that then a secret. Of course, every organization, yeah, when you're a friend of what secrecy, and you're the workings within the organization and all that what they call about and nothing we opinion with the usran san to keep what must be kept and to take what must be taken out there. And they say no now be Canada organization be one sema you to mean anything I won't penny for no anything I young radio so any meeting because you have to have a discussion in-house none over there. What they call about what the record. So organizations will necessarily have issues or they will keep you with fee. Some more there or Mudeko. So in some year echo between our reform and team or there or Mumakratia. And they say if you know be good.
Oh, whom near Hamia A2 or NDC, we move to me a Chinano se party.
You are caught through this even before. And I'm catch there any kind of yellow elections. Indeed, we lost 2000 elections. In Kofi there. The party was just an election machinery and your party. But you organize in opposition, now you're governing party. So we survived it. Yeni no creda ye party ye forme party no abra ye wa bem. But we had survived a shock of an election defeat. Ya reorganize ye ho ye tumi aba bi di nkunim bio. So now being in opposition enya dia new to us. And this enuntina ohwa 2000 ye lose ye no e take ye some time and sana the reorganization committee no ye ho adwuma. This time around results ni nya pie no na ye nya handi over kra on the 28th of December and I have next meeting to approve the Professor Boyche committee there omobe private into the election, the outcome of the elections. Meaning that this time around you take even steps and initiatives earlier than before because now you go through that process now. I know this is the first time go through that. Ebinye party penya now organize a party that was opposition. Yeah. For the entire 8 years and now opposition, we were leaders. We were part of the reorganization. So I don't think that we should be that much worried. But on my Ghana, and unfortunately, no, ebeko ne chikakra. Because in Shishia now you kra, ye moving the speed with which anka yebeko no, on my Ghana enyano sa. But as a party, we will surely reorganize and will bounce back in 2020 and win the elections and form
2020.
Government. Yeah. Yeah, but for me, I buy in 2021.
More GDA pass. 2020 more.
That's why clear. Kokrum na kubisa, kofusia omo cylinders kwa omo kofilia no omo kasa. John Mahama woso no say na ye ton this in kofo ye dede ene omo aba no 750,000. Na nka bottle na ye 40,000. Pum akọ transport fares na it is saying akọ school fees it is saying akọ rent electricity bill higher than rent or muka wasem still ebinimu kra da doom so and so on and so forth. That is the verdict.
Kofi so me say doom so nan mo kro bi so do so say eh mama kona na aba. Can you do me say mama kona
so it means
na aba. I said so before.
Yeah, metuma kan there. The MPP in terms of tagging NDC no mo ye adwuma pa. They did a good job. In terms of the yede bibia challenge bia ebeko eye o mine institutional challenges yede beto NDC so na yede beto a specific target. Look, obikra oko sebi sorry ebinum didi oko join 9 kra na maybe ade no empia obeka de John Mahama na aye John Mahama ni dia na okodi na they did a good job on tagging.
That's a Ghana for so more system no more. On my experience and feel and
of course, Lucy, maybe someone there didn't people feel the positives in Christ when he was being betrayed at Yekukum Nana? People felt it. Omwa osa on yare no omuhuye. Omwa no mo no omuhuye there odani nsuo into wine. He fed thousands with just few loaves of bread and fish. But still.
Okay, Kofi Yambo Busian Komo Kakra and Crofose Onye Ghanaian. Wo Oye Ghanaian.
How does one become Ghanaian? You see, in the NTR, sometimes I don't waste my time on issues or one day nipa wasting the time. No? Because Amrano Eda Hoye very clear how one becomes a Ghanaian and not a Ghanaian. So okay. I don't really need to waste my time on issues on there or say wumre. And you go into history, look, Omampeni role is by yes or anya Ghana. Omampeni kufoba yes or anya Ghana. Indeed, Omampeni male so yes or Ivorian. Nana kone do at a certain point almost or nya. So those kind of
taggings.
But omoka. So there are issues that you don't have to waste your time over when they are relevant and important issues.
If you are Ghanaian by birth, by adoption, by naturalization, or by DNA.
Ghanaian by birth, by everything. by every standard.
But yes, oh, mammy, no papa will Benin, a crabby, I say, a cranny din, Nipan boy, but mean kai, or say, Matty said, Chown, the Kofi Besia, Kofi, mammy, and the papa,
Mamenka, have been to be Boni Panidin. Pinipa, menine aye Juma, in the year, you call program be, and you be see Accra, wait, some. Reverend sisters be can.
Okay.
Now on the Reverend sisters in the AD me home come. Now on him there, one of the sisters no. Me busian fie, any omubusian fie no a wall and a dientem. Sa Reverend sister no otena ne nana nchen. Wantena ne mama ne papa otena ne nana nchen enti ne nana ni fie na me ka ho asemi. Mostly na ne nana no owo yensu yefie yen papa ni fie we related so well. Minua mi di ne chi no mate to this sister. Sa penny to me ka sa aseme ya o boy etre sa reverend sister no money until mu free hope and I say hey wo you very careful with ni pay. So maybe we did one ho making sure that men did it because in some man na nipa no kanu onya wo kra obotuma aye den ama wo poison. I mean so luckily me men did kra wo ho. So in some day obi to meet na ho o body team or cancer ma just to say something. Nipa no kra to me kan ye there odo kra na okofa me free Beni ko bi o de ba Ghana ha. Meanwhile, the first time I met here was when directly, one-on-one, was time I was in opposition. Uba Cape Coast. That time, I was teaching at Adekye College. And the first time, I interface directly. So, sadly.
Inti Kofi, me efi and our papa
Sophie. Multi-background, on free just one side. Nefa, every central region. Okay. Nefa so. Every Salaga in the northern region, or partly Gonja and partly Fancy. Oh, sir. Inti Salaga and a central region here. A central region,
Jumako. Besiansi Jumako. I see now Papa so.
Me Papa so free or a bon. Papa free bon, also never a Salaga and I never so a boom entertainment.
Two Papa the next or ye vote appeal. Guan kakra, buem kakra. Buem for no so monye guan for. Internet so papa do ye pure guan. Oh, okay, you only producer prince so bim penny free. Enti o ma me no papa o.
Debi. Omo ye elite.
Komo akan ko mbe kama ma omo chem se mpacho ye Ghana for na munya ne ba no.
It's a large family.
Who nua no be say?
Yeah, 7 in number. Be direct brothers, yeah, 7 in number.
Mema nko a.
Debi. Mema ne 4.
Okay.
Man ne 3.
Okay, what else?
Obako be a last.
Kachiri.
Obako ko and a be macro ko.
Oh,
so it's left with 3 of us and then 2 other ladies.
Omo nyina wo Ghana.
Hey now, omo Ghana.
Ti wuni mo bia wo Benin.
Minia Benin kra kasa be na. If there is anything that maybe can nipa be closer to know, should have been even been in Togo because Woba Buema. Sometimes me call villager now my phone now call into roaming.
Okay, because of Togo border no.
That before now call into roaming. So if there's anything ground could be Bekano, then you should have been talking about Togo because we relate. We interrelate. We be war this and this side. We be so war this in Ghana. If you have obi koto nchini wa ha no dia be ni ediane or this other side. That should have been the case. But ni na no we don't have to waste our precious
Why the
time.
name Kofi Adams? Because some can say Ufi Benin, no say the Kofi Udi ankasa di Adamu. And why Adams?
I've indicated clearly that I have never, nobody even my family has used Adamu before. There's no Adamu in our family.
Okay. Or siblings 4 na can only omono ubi enough 4 mo can
Nobody has used our name have always been. Some use Adam.
Okay.
Maybe use Adams.
Okay.
It depends. So you choose what do you want to use. And my name from birth has been Adams Adekye Kofi.
Adekye.
Kofi.
So Adekye they say before the
Debbie, enya before the IDDIE.
IDDIE. Okay.
So a lot of people know omunime me. We call me village now about the my shorten it to ED.
Okay. So say you call Buem o village or
now that's the name that all my mates.
Okay.
That's the name that omunim me with.
Okay.
All my mates.
Before I obey a teacher, now I bet biology. You see periproduction, topic. Biology at this school, no. Next, favorite subject and a topic.
There's no way a teacher would do any favorite topic. You have to make sure that we prepare with students for all topics because we prepare one into the future. So you cannot have anything like
boys need be catcher say Kofi.
Maybe I try to bring the practicality of things to make it easier for kids to understand.
Okay.
I reduce my teaching to make it very easier for them to understand. And I wasn't surprised that first my child was Bremen School Secondary School.
Okay.
Actually, first my child was Besiasi. So I moved from Ejumako to Besiasi. So I moved from Ejumako to Besiasi to go and teach. And so I moved to Bremen School Secondary School. My students perform so well. Bremen School Secondary. Some of them are medical doctors. One has actually risen to become a consultant so fast. And so I moved to Adesada College. And there through maybe omo teacher, the performance of the students, I'm happy to announce that kept consistently was going up. Me take over from Mr. Graham, who later became a headmaster in one of the schools and came back to Adesada to head the school again. And I'm proud of my students and my performance as a teacher at Adesada College. And me share my students around. I feel proud. The kind of pressure I was putting on them then, they thought that I'm impaired. But today, they are proud and they are happy. My young Kofi, sometimes they travel out of the country and they meet these boys. Immediately you introduce yourself that you are a friend of Kofi Adams. Treat now is more than even me myself.
Now you're boys.
Oh yeah, I relate with them very well, but I also discipline them. So Bibia, Uncle here, I won't spare you. The fact that me relate with you doesn't mean that we are born here, I will deal with you and correct you because the intention is to train you to become a better person tomorrow. So I won't use a common relationship that one I don't do. And they say so. You may be my friend, but if you misbehave, I'll discipline you. I'll discipline you. Oh, sure, of course. Now, some of the speech and prize giving days, one time, year group, speech day, this. So I know about that.
Oh, okay. Now, Sana will be teacher.
And Alan Kojo Chairman. So there are some very good ones also who went to, and of course, Adesada also have his fair share of crazy staffs also. Okay. We don't rule that out.
Santa Claus say, "Hey, be more money, bros." Now, before one school.
I schooled first my basic education from Tetema.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tetema. I want me basic education.
And where
me free no. Me krum
okay.
So me free no me ko Jasikan. Eko ye school kakra eko Okaja krum. Eso koto aso hoso kakra me free no me ko Bishop Hema. Okay. And me free Bishop Hema no me ba University of Ghana Legon.
Okay.
And to me University of Ghana Legon no and me ko ye juma kakra ewo Besiase, then Bremen Sukuma, then to Adesada College. Timer, but make us service in Cheo. Because timer now may support Mrs. Rollins against Professor Mills contest. Ebi bam from me that may call UCC do now late President Mills now or him or UCC. Men supported and Mrs. Rollins and I may supporting. But Miniaba man co school or UCC.
Okay.
I was regional youth organizer for the NDC. Now, me the way I me jumano, with the juma chairman, I commit myself to make sure that baby a problem no one I associate with the problem and find solution to it.
Okay.
Now the biggest problem at FAC NDC ever Cape Coast, was the university. So as youth leader, I developed a certain close relationship with the students to the point that when you in there, me a student work.
Nice.
Now, so I was teaching at Adekye College, but relating so well with them. Me a program with Kwame Nadanka, now the regional minister for Central Region and the rest. Challenge for change, cross country, and cross current affairs. One program be on ATL for any radio Valco. This said Kwame Boati Numina, that was where they started from. Anio Sabute, that was where they all started from and grew up to be doing what they are doing today. So we have related with all these gentlemen in the past from the foundational level. Yeah, Juma be brayama on mine.
Into one casa family.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
I have a family with wonderful kids, 3 kids.
Wow.
3 wonderful kids.
3 wonderful kids and
two girls and then 1 boy.
Oh, when you feel ready. My mom producer at Taraba.
I produce open mat 3.
Don't say few my home there say where they see.
Okay, no, but dogs were her. Mindru bibia mayor ex for sale. This idea be one of dogs.
Now, who cars saying?
More 2 Land Cruisers.
Okay.
More 2 Land Cruisers. But wife, me AUC 1, one, and I'm also no 1. And I have a saloon car. I have a saloon car. No, say we be some me more specific.
Okay. 2 Land Cruisers, 1 saloon.
1 saloon car. Yeah. That's all.
Oh, now no many on the Japan bonko. So casa who the choir partner one say who teacher who be your national organizer when your class is out.
We say Kofi be on me no that's your book casa. Sometimes that one na omon kanko. You don't have to waste your time and be chasing everybody. Win him, sir. So sometimes you have to leave it. And no make kind story be say Papa be we just 70 years now be say there. Do you get worried when you see me there me the na yere no respond no me nya worried because even nkraman cry or muche see cars na so omuntu mean driving. So sometimes when people say and do things that they do, you choose to sometimes ignore some of the things. A true level be I will feel there attract beyond be careful. So they will take action be that will take it. For example, Kofi can send be afa maybe my career for a binimu. I choose to ignore, but loyal bribo ne kezana ne den abronya ne I've taken them to court.
Are you still in court?
Of course, we are still in court. 10th May, yes, court to be on that matter. But Kophobia on party members, so we don't want to call court because you can question my competence. I won't take it away from you because you're all right as a party member. They'll be a jumana share once a day as national organizer, maybe 1 year a year, and one manage resources here. You can say all those things, but you cannot directly call me that I'm a thief.
Kofi Nkrofo say won say party organizer, campaign coordinator na wa so party ma esisi echidi omukoko.
Because the fact that we a party band does not mean that you can engage in any irresponsible talk anyhow. It can happen.
But politics is about numbers, caution there.
What we are about, because you are cautioning Obia already. We have cautioned everybody. Anything I say, Professor Bochwe committee. The whole was for what some coho. Now, even the very day I know more the national chairman had issued a statement earlier, warning everybody, but still no more sound a day yes I neck meeting. A press conference as a particular no also sign a repeat of another press. So imagine there, they don't want to be treated as even party members. So yes, sir, you would have to answer. You know, a personal and a party issue. a person.
But some way party ma.
It doesn't matter.
For the omo love omo ma party ne opposition amakọ no ho yi a.
Who will love for
out of pain.
Out of pain. Anything I have to Professor Bocho committee there for us koko. So who will capacity to organize a press conference and get it telecast live and aired live. That means that you can go to you meant something beyond Ubia Bibia ne ya. Ye ni Ubia Bibia ne ya. Yeah, all kinds of things. We read them on various platforms that we are even members on, and we don't say anything. People immediately say things against you, out of pain. But what should that? Our planning, our forming group, our free press conference, our attacking persons directly. That cannot be out of a yaobi. It can be. Of course. The belief is still on service search on, I think, 2 more persons or so. Okay. Until those 2 services now, but I think that a date will be fixed for us to commence those ones. So,
party executives cast away the yen fan Kofi na young kunkunku.
There's a level party no so deal with the level of deal with or more party for like they can take disciplinary process against them. Party no yeah or no. But it's about me. It's about my family. Of course, it depends on the kind of settlement ABP out of that. So, who be me about me business for me ma?
Yeah.
My catch there more ma 3 or China maybe me ni ho me wuako. Or more come and how we manage things, no money na so call. Now, so the record of that press conference still better. Me baby PA na so obeye bibia no obi akọ internet so akọ type na ebe PA ba na omu use ade a maybe omu papa kra anye no na omu use against them. So sometimes it's important to set the records straight. I'm not minyobia or dealing with just party people. May deal with other persons, even to the international level. So, more kind the issues from that press conference. Maybe we will be you know to me then and deal because maybe we in Ukraine and then and try. So I'm not. This is not a matter I'm taking line low at all. A matter of a great concern to me.
Kofi party sumi obeko so asum da chi se mo ko congress so obeko pre-national organizer di brena na abeko wani ma na wabre.
Every elections have taken a decision. Yendru pointer may take a decision on what I will do. Yendru's appointing and he drew her now me take a decision now. We platform may be the first platform.
Kofi second time I was serving you.
No.
Also with me da be number congress.
Oh no. Yen drew congress time crowd because them am catch you know be reorganization our branches in the polling stations. Add the branch executives ni na sana ya ba constituency region then sana looking at the scheduling the timetable na be next year.
Around which month?
I can't give the exact month. But possibly this year. This year, out. I don't think that it will be possible this year.
Meet me after Batman, Anna.
One of the names are Mufrey the man or at Sada. But when you Omutu within us, one fan of serious now. Omukana no say na Ira. Enti mo wa decided no edi a omoma me na edoso kwa
eni ma me bia me ma kan Batman
Batman homozygote Etrus Anthony omo ma we din bebre omo bo na so hu de wo sere a na ayira
because Batman bo no mu jan
because I myself I'm that type of person enti meaning how to because omo year school for omo bo odi na so mu de ubuefu a na ebe ka ho a omo de be serew be so omo bo na se wo je ne dia na adane esre between all of you they no longer because the intention possibly was to use it to create because who discipline one thing omo pe bibia omo ka na ebe ye wo ya na omo hawaje but omo ka na me sere na adane
ene bra Batman da be na your birthday no
oh birthday etwemu
Oh, sir.
Me a second
That's also a
me a second me.
Why a birthday party? Why invite you?
Actually, usually no me birthday party, but fortunately for me this year rather, and I mean some surprise thing a yonkufo bi organize. Maybe kwejuma. Na is your brother no so yeah normally party functional executive committee meeting. And here point yeah no not still for office while there may attend to them. And now one of my colleague be na a friend offered there na or babe who no fee na obedu ya no must still member na or twemi me yentem na member. My office na brae na this also no the way I weather anything member. Not knowing that they have done something little at home for old friends. And me copy you know usually you know I reflect over my life on my birthday. Maybe I fast, I dedicate that day to thinking through my life and me and Yankopon I baby I me be drew and so on and so forth. I try to reflect and then look back and then look at today and strategize towards the future, because whether you're pale, we have to plan towards the future. If you are here into the future, it looks fearful, but then it's still over there way.
Okay.
And you prepare well, you go into the future with some ease as compared to not preparing at all. So may find that occasion sometimes to reflect so deep and honor a few persons.
Okay, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Na u di Kofi ankasa na dia nipa e do to ne di Kofi.
Never me di Kofi ankasa.
Okay. Who you Muslim and now you Christian?
Yeah, Christian. I was born on a Friday. And the Kofi is associated with
sorry.
I went into Catholic, I left at a point, and now today sorry Hands of God Power Ministry.
Okay. And you say Batman. Yeah, that's it. I was for your national organizer, ma NDC. Now, I'm a campaign coordinator for 2016. Ora Kofi idea upa yeni ED Adams of NDC na se ujigana ushiado na ya disco boy na pese obeka disco fraternity na se Batman obeji so kama ena no pay yene no edi mpunipu wa Adekye Nsroma so ene fie day na oba no wan kwa weji ni senti ene aha ena yedi mu AC mayen kai se na yedi ani je ne yedi celebrate ye papa Dr. Ernesto Fori Sapon efrise onyankopon ede afia kanimfie ho enne enti mu nyina from to dated salt, special investment, need foods, Peace FM, OK FM, Hello FM, special drink, best points, UTV. Mon frère Mr. Fori na mon kan chen se da nyame nhira ye da se pa na onye wo kese. Nyame ya dom wa ochina Christmas challenge 9:30 after Adekye Nsroma ye de bebre mo hwe ye celebrity sunu ko a Chris ene ne challenge ne be ko no suna kon be fa so one no betineti wo mapom kama kai set time no ye 9:30 mafade as usual Justy Fashion ene pama mi jolo woni Fidelity edi enim hwe Painters oben star oil wo bachona ena afi hacho block factory medi edi yakrama nyame hia so hwe bye bye. We sing happy birthday to you.